Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the It's and Queens podcast covering May 24th to May 30th, 2018. As always, I am Rob Mackay from the Queens Tourism Council, and on the other extreme is Chris Donovan from the Daily News, which is the co-producer of this podcast. Chris, please tell your Rabid fans how your weekend was.
You know what? If you are a friend of mine on Facebook, you'll notice I went Facebook Live this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Liam
Were you
Donovan.
in Queens while you were doing
Absolutely.
it?
We were walking by the
good.
Queens Botanical Gardens on our way to Kane's famous diner on College Point Boulevard.
Oh, okay. All right.
Enjoyed
So
the
you
steak
kept
and
it in the
eggs.
borough this week, and you had
Absolutely.
steak and eggs, and
Yes.
you're better for it.
I feel like a new man.
Yeah, all right. Well, I don't think you guys really want to hear about us because we have a special
Now
treat
we
today.
have a special guest.
Yes, her name is Aleeia Abraham
There you go. Nailed it.
from Prototype Music.
Yeah.
She lives in Queens, in Rosedale,
Yeah.
and she has a very, very fun all-day event coming up on June 9th called the Queens Youth Music Festival.
Go ahead.
You almost choked on that one.
Care to tell us about it?
Yeah,
Tell us about
so we call it QYMFest.
Quim, okay.
It's at St.John's University.
St. John's University, on the Great Lawn there.
No, actually, we're in the law school parking lot now.
In the
Okay.
law school parking
Yeah,
lot.
that gave us a little more.
So
barrier.
the entrance is still from 80-00 Union
Yep,
Turnpike?
8,000.
Okay, yeah, it's actually 80-00. Did you know that?
Oh, no.
Because it's
Yeah.
80th Avenue where
That's
it
right.
crosses. Yeah. It took me a while till I
Yeah.
realized that. Yeah. So tell us about the fest. What can
What are
we
we in
get if
for?
we go there? What do we get?
Well, it depends what you like. It's a traditional festival where there's games and food and kids.
Funnel
running
cake?
And of course,
It's
funnel
funnel cake season in
Ooh,
Queens.
Funnel cake.
But for all the junior high school internet kids, a lot of the famous YouTube stars and social media stars and some talent from Nickelodeon. And so I'll go through it. We have Casey Simpson from Nickelodeon. He's on Nicky, Ricky, Dickie, and Dawn.
Okay, wait. You're gonna have to
Start over?
No. Just is this a singer or is this a dancer? Is this
This
Actor.
is an actor.
Actor.
Oh, this is an
He's
actor.
on the television show Nicky, Ricky, Dickie, and Dawn.
Okay. And what's he gonna do?
He's
gonna
gonna
be
be
there.
hosting.
Oh, he's hosting. He's
Nice.
like the
There you go.
MC.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
He's hosting with Mo Bounds from Z100.
Mo Bounds. That's a radio person.
That's a radio
All right,
person. He has the
I like his
afternoon
brother.
show.
Les
He has the
Bounds.
afternoon show on Z100. Okay.
He does.
And so the two of them are gonna be MC.
Yeah.
Okay. And the talent. Tell us
Yeah,
about
so we have Sawyer Frederick. He won The Voice in 2016.
Oh, okay.
Sawyer Frederick.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What kind of music does he say? He's pop.
No, he's like folky kind of.
okay. Is he
Acoustic guitar in hand.
yeah,
he
yeah,
plays
yeah.
guitar and he
Yeah.
sings? Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Very, very
Sawyer
Frederick.
Oh, he's,
Winner of The Voice.
his first name is a last name and his last name is a first name.
It is.
Very
Ooh,
interesting.
wow, must
That
be
tripped
very
me up a
intriguing.
couple times
Yeah.
too. There's a couple different versions of the flyer.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he's gonna perform. Who
Yeah.
else?
Little Key. He's from the
Little Key.
Little Key. He was on the Lifetime network show The Rap Game with Jermaine Dupri. Had a
Oh, he's a
show-
rapper?
Yeah. He had a show with a bunch of different rappers that he was mentoring. So he's
Okay.
from that show.
Now you ready to be impressed?
Go ahead.
Is he a trap rapper?
He is not trap. He's a little more
Ooh.
traditional. Good
Oh,
job.
okay.
Good
That's
job. He's a little more traditional. He's a little more Jermaine Dupri influenced than some of the mumble rappers that we
Okay.
know today.
the mumble rappers.
Yes.
No mumble rap.
down.
Sorry. We just lost the mumble rap.
I'm down with mumblecore.
Market is not. Yeah. All
Sometimes-
right.
Sometimes this podcast is mumblecore.
Yeah, I think this podcast counts as
Right,
mumble.
yeah.
Little Key.
Little Key.
Okay.
Now, is the Key spelled K-E-Y, Q-U-I?
K-E-Y.
Very interesting.
Very, very traditional.
Is he a native New Yorker or?
He's not. He
Oh,
is
okay.
coming in from
Okay.
Washington, D.C.
Okay.
You see, Washington D.C. wants to come to Queens.
Yes,
Notice
they
that.
do.
We're not going there.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Who else?
I have Grant. I don't want to mess up his last name. Kanoki.
Okay.
Kanoki.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's from Kids Bop, but he's no longer in Kids
Oh.
Bop now. He has his own career.
Okay.
So he's coming up as well. He's coming in from L.A.
And his style of music is.
That's pop.
That's
Yeah.
pop.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got folk.
Do you know what
rap,
Kids
and
Bop
pop.
is?
I don't.
Because your
I
kids
don't.
are past this
Yeah.
stage, but they take all the contemporary songs and sort of kidify them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like the
It's-
Chipmunks when we were young. Remember the
You
Chipmunks?
know what?
so, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, and they're
The
they're
voice
very
is a little bit
popular.
higher. I mean, lower rather.
Okay.
But yeah, same idea.
Yeah, they're a big.
And so this is going to be hours and hours on a stage, I imagine.
Yeah, because we have a lot of local act too. We have a lot of
got it.
locals.
Good,
Yeah,
good.
we have like
Promoting
a
the locals.
Yeah, of course. It's kind
Okay.
of the whole purpose of the festival is to take all the local acts and have them open for their favorite kind of stars.
Oh, that's
Oh,
a,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
a
very
beautiful
nice.
thought.
Yeah.
I like
That's
that.
a great idea.
Yeah.
Because we got a lot of talent in this borough.
Absolutely.
And anything else? Funnel cake. That's you got me on
Yeah,
that.
we have a lot of workshops. We have. Go
Oh.
ahead.
You mentioned the YouTube stars.
Yeah.
Which ones are those? Because my
So-
son follows a lot of YouTube stars.
Yeah, we have. There's a list of just stars
Oh, no
that are
kidding.
appearing. That
So
are
we can
long
check
and
it
long
on
and
your
long.
website.
Yeah, yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
yeah.
that's the best way
There's
to do
like
that.
a bunch of the ones that make the weird comedy videos.
Yes.
And
Oh, that one, not that one that goes in the bathtub with the frosted flakes or whatever. That
I don't
interviewed
know.
Obama. You know that? All right.
All right.
All right,
wait,
anyway.
let's-
yeah, it's
yeah.
a bunch of.
All right.
Let's
So
check out
everyone
what
has a
shows
gig.
Rob's
Everyone has
watching.
their gig.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
that's it.
Absolutely.
All right. So full day starts
Yeah, so
at.
we have. Wait, I want to get back into
Yeah.
the clinics that we're having.
Yeah.
So we're
Okay.
having a basketball clinic.
Mhm.
There's a boxing clinic.
Uh-huh.
There's DJ instructions. Guitar Center's doing some drum lessons.
Yeah.
There's a slime bar because everybody likes to make slime now.
Oh, is that it?
Well,
That's it.
Nickelodeon still gets slime at the.
Yeah,
yeah, right?
it's a
Oh.
big
That's-
slime thing, and we'll
I
have.
remember you can't
other
do that
kind
on
of
television. I should, yeah. I used to drop
Wow.
slime on him when you said what was the magic word you said? I forgot.
You're. It's.
It's beyond your
I
pay
don't
grade.
remember.
But you said something and you got
They
slime.
just slime.
Yeah,
Slimes?
yeah.
Oh,
that was
boy.
like in the 90s. Like
Yeah,
All
in
right.
the
and
90s.
guess who was one of the stars in that? Alanis Morissette. She was on
Yeah.
You Can't.
Really?
Yeah, you can't do that on television.
Oh, okay.
Ironic.
All right. Anything else?
Uh,
Workshop for music.
nowhere.
Workshop.
Workshops,
Famous people.
vendors.
Vendors.
Yeah, we have youth awards. The councilman Paul Vallone
Yeah.
Mhm.
is
Yep.
giving out a youth award to Miss Teen New York, which happens to be
Oh,
Queens resident.
I know her.
Yeah,
Now you're talking.
Kamau.
got it.
Yeah. She's Guyanese,
Yep.
Indian Guyanese.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I've worked with her before. I've
Yeah.
done something.
So
Oh,
she's
okay.
our youth honoree.
Youth honoree.
Yeah.
Okay. And the weather's going to be fantastic.
The weather's
I hear.
going to be great. It's going to be
The weather's gonna be-
79 degrees.
It's going to be
That's
setting
right.
with
Yeah.
a light breeze
Yeah,
coming
yeah,
in
yeah.
every now and then, and
Absolutely.
then when it's too hot, the cloud will come over and give you some
Yes.
shade. All right, fantastic.
What time does it start?
Yeah,
12 to 5.
12 to 5. And where
That's
can
a lot to get in 5 hours.
Yeah,
You'll
it
be
is.
able to
Well, a
make it
lot of them are
happen.
going to happen concurrently.
Oh,
so
okay, all
on
right.
the stages on that side, and the activities are still
Okay,
on the
very
other
good.
side. Yeah,
Very
yeah.
good.
all right, that actually sounds really good. So what's the target market on that?
Like age-wise,
Yeah.
I would say like 9 to 16.
9 to 16? Okay. It sounds like you've got a lot of different genres. You got a little
Yeah, yeah.
something for everyone.
I try to make it very clean.
Yeah.
Even some of the local acts are doing more cultural dances and kind of stuff like that.
And this is the third annual or
is the
the
third.
third annual?
Yeah.
And where can people go to get more information?
You can go to the website, QYMFest.com.
QYM Fest, as in Queens Youth Music Fest.
Yeah.
And look at that.
Somebody
You put
called it
.com.
Quim
like
Fest
that.
one year.
Quim Fest.
And then we just kind of stuck with it.
Okay. Well, that sounds. I have a 14-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to run this by her.
Yeah.
Yeah. She actually, for Christmas, she gave me 12 pieces of paper, each with a different month on it, and I get 1 day with her every month. the
Ah.
Daddy
Oh, that's
Day.
nice.
So maybe I'll spend the Daddy Day. on
That's
this.
it.
I like
Yeah.
it.
I'll hook you up
Yeah.
with some VIP tickets.
Ooh, VIP Daddy Day.
Hey
That
now.
I might end up getting 2 Daddy Days a month next
Daddy
year. with
like.
that. Yeah. All right. Well, that is fantastic. Yet
Wait,
another reason.
what was the genesis? What made you guys start this festival? Where'd you come from?
Yeah, so Prototype Music kind of fell into place just because we had a lot of. We always kind of did talent shows. I've been doing that in my community maybe since I was like 20, which was,
Oh wow.
you know.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
So I've always just kind of been that type of person. And then from that, you get kids who you see they need a little help, and then you end up helping them. And I take them to the studio, and then I ended up getting a partner. So we'd take them to the studio. We'd write songs with them. We'd shoot music
amazing.
videos with them and teach them how to dance and get all these dancers. And all of a sudden, it's like, okay, now what?
Right.
You know? So it's nice to be able to put them on a platform that's a little bit higher than a school recital and let them feel like professionals and kind of train them to act like professionals. You
So
know?
is this
that's
part
kinda
of
how it
a
started.
program that you
We'll
got?
talk
that
about
you-
that at the end.
Oh, we'll talk about it at the
Okay.
end.
We'll
Okay,
get
very
back
good.
to her in the end.
All right, sounds good.
So we have some events coming up this week. Could we convince you to stay here and
I'm chilling.
add your 2 cents
Yes.
when we go through? All right. So as we said in the beginning, we're covering stuff from May 24th to May 30th, and this is the week. It's Memorial Day weekend at the end of it, and this is kind of the week before all of the street festivals start. But I'm looking at what's going on, and it's all outdoors, which is kind of leading up to her outdoor
Yes.
fest. For example, I guess probably the biggest thing worth mentioning is that the beach is open on May 26th.
That's the big one,
Oh,
right?
I
That's
should
the
like that.
opening.
10
of all
o'clock on
public
May
beaches.
26th. And of course, Rockaway, as we know, is I believe it's 12 miles, isn't it? 12 miles?
Yes.
Yeah. And I actually looked up where the beaches will open, and it happens to be between Beach 9th Street and Beach 149th Street.
That's
So
140
Okay,
blocks.
140 blocks are opening up at 10 o'clock on this Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can't beat that.
Can't beat that. Remember, the really good waves are kind of between 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Right. And the good food's on what? 90?
And the good food is up higher. Yeah, good food is everywhere this year. But that's
Because as you can tell, I'm more of an eater, not so much of a surfer.
you're not going to surf.
I'm not
You're
sure
gonna-
if you can tell just from me existing, but
I actually, as you guys know, the Rockaways got hit really hard at Sandy.
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
And they were right before the Rockaways was really getting
They were
hot right
poised
before
to
Sandy,
explode, yeah.
and then Sandy, with so many businesses went out because either they got damaged or no one was there for 6 months.
That's right.
And it's been slowly rebuilding, and I think this is going to be a big summer.
I think it's
for
gonna be
the
huge.
Rockaways. The restaurants restaurants have opened. They're all doing. They're really really good. The beach is going to be great. There are great concessions this summer.
Yeah.
I think, and the boardwalk is almost finished.
Yeah.
So I
It's
think
been wild to watch it happen. Like the 70s, my family had like the bungalow, and
Yeah.
we all kind of went out there on weekends, and it was a bunch of kids playing on the beach. And then the 80s, as I got older, the beaches kind of got a little weird, and you couldn't bring your kids there.
It was very very kind of Atlantic City wacky.
Yeah,
for a while.
and then the 90s things sort of changed for the better. And then, you come into the 2000s and sort of everything's ready to explode. Sandy hits, and then it has to start all
over.
over again.
Right, but there's Thai restaurants, there's
There's
Mexican
everything
restaurants,
everything
there's
you could
seafood
imagine over
restaurants.
there, yeah.
There's a lot going on there right
And
now.
I
This
go
is
I
the
go
summer.
there almost at least every other weekend.
Yeah, good.
Because it's a great
Good.
beach.
Because Queens is a beach town.
It is absolutely.
The other thing that's worth mentioning, I think, is that is the Memorial Day parades.
Yeah.
Everyone knows, of course, that the Woodside, the 11377 zip code, lost more people in the Vietnam War than any other zip code in the country.
That's right.
And Woodside has a very nice parade, but there are actually, I think, 10 neighborhoods that have Memorial Day parades. The biggest one in the country is Little Neck, Douglaston.
Oh yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah. We've got Ridgewood, Glendale, or Ridgewood to Glendale parade. There's a Howard Beach parade. There is a Laurelton parade, which is a long-standing one.
Yep.
Whitestone has a parade. I said Woodside. Rosedale, your neighborhood,
Yep,
has a
yep,
parade.
yep,
Do you know
yep,
anything about it?
I know I see it a lot.
Oh,
There's
okay,
a lot
yeah.
of people.
Well,
They walk.
the
And I know that there's food after. I've been
There
to
you
that.
there's food after
Yes.
it. Okay.
You throw food in. you get a bunch of
Forest
people
Hills is
there.
also probably the
Forest
other
Hills,
neighbor that
yep.
we're missing. That has a very good parade from the American Legion Hall. And if you can make any, I mean, I've been to a couple of them. As everyone knows, I'm a Queens nerd. I've been to a lot of them. Since I used to live in Woodside and I still live right next door, I often go to that. It starts off with a special mass, and the veterans are in the mass at St. Sebastian's. So it's always kind of a little meaningful.
Yeah.
And they do a wreath laying at the World War I Memorial, which is right next to the 9/11 Memorial.
That's right.
And so some of the people that are there have relatives whose names are on the wall that lost in 9/11. So it's a powerful experience. And
The true meaning of Memorial Day.
it's
to
the
remember
true meaning
those
of
we lost,
Memorial Day.
right?
It's
Yeah.
not all about barbecues.
No.
Right.
Although barbecues are
They're
not the end of the
They're
world.
pretty good too.
So with that in mind, besides the beach and the parades, I'm just going to list some of the stuff that happens. The outdoor movie season also starts this week.
Big time.
Really?
Which
Yeah.
is New York City parks. Well, the Hunters part over there, they actually tried last week but got rained out. They're going to do
yeah.
Wizard of the Oz outdoor. But the movie Coco is playing on May 20th.
That was a really good movie for a kids movie.
That's the sort of bilingual one. Mexico, land of the with the Day of the Dead thing. That's playing on May 25th, and then there's another one called Captain Underpants.
Captain Underpants is a big one with like 6 to 10-year-olds probably.
Is it? That's May 27th, and it's out in Rego Park. Two pranksters put their teacher or their principal under hypnosis and
Yep.
convince him that he's a superhero named Captain Underpants. Anyway, along that line, so that's going to be going on at New York City Public Parks until September.
Okay.
But it's starting off this week. I want to tell you about there are a lot of other outdoor activities going on. For example, There is an outdoor workshop to learn how to make holograms at Socrates Sculpture Park.
How to make a hologram?
You make a sculpture
mean?
and then you capture it in a hologram with 3D laser light. With someone who has a PhD in like
Yeah.
third dimension
That's
stuff.
interesting.
Crazy, right? There's an outdoor concert at Maple Grove Cemetery in Kew Gardens.
You know, the cemeteries be kicking it live.
That cemetery is
lately,
great,
right?
and
I mean,
it includes an Ozone Park based chorus. I didn't know Ozone Park had a chorus.
I didn't know they had a chorus.
And one of the members of the chorus will be giving the world premiere of her new song that she wrote for her. So that's kind of nice.
They
It's
do
actually a choral
concerts in
group.
the cemetery?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a great place for concerts.
St.
yeah.
Michael's does it.
Yes.
Maple Grove does it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in Brooklyn, Greenwood always does it, and what they do. Well, we're not talking about Brooklyn.
No, come on.
There's
We'll save that for the It's in Brooklyn podcast.
yeah, astronomy night. If you want to go look at the stars with an astronomy teacher and top-notch telescope, Alley Pond Park this weekend.
Alley Pond.
And
Always
in case you were
environmental.
wondering, the Big Dipper and Arcturus, Boots, and Spica should be visible in the sun in the
Okay.
sky.
Thank goodness.
And the guy's name is Mark Freilich. He's been doing it forever. He does a little Q&A to start you off about astronomy and how cool it is, and then you go out and you look at the stuff. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, it's totally cool. There's also for bird watchers, there's a special hawk watch in Astoria Park.
Wow.
Urban Park Rangers in Astoria, they know exactly where to go to see the hawks. So if you want to go see hawks, there's more outdoor stuff.
When I was a kid, you had to go to Atlanta to see the Hawks. Sorry.
Nosh
They
walks. You
can't
know
all be
Nosh
winners, huh?
walks? There's a woman, Myra Alperson, who organizes walking and food tours where you pick a neighborhood and you walk through, and she works it out beforehand.
Right.
So you take bites from different
Yeah,
stores.
I
So
love it.
she's doing Elmhurst on May 27th,
Ooh.
and she's promising Thai, Colombian, Mexican, and maybe Indonesian.
Yeah, you
plus
can do that on the same block in Elmhurst.
in Elmhurst,
Yeah.
yeah. Plus a visit to the Buddhist temple and some of the markets. They have a lot of.
Buddhist temples in Elmhurst, or is it Flushing?
Well, no, there's a
There's
Buddhist
another one?
temple that's basically where Woodside becomes Elmhurst.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It's a nice place.
Oh, cool.
Also, the New York City Audubon is doing another bird walk inside Queens Botanical Gardens.
Yeah.
So they'll be there, people
Right.
from the Audubon. So if you want to do a bird walk
Well,
with
they have that
expert
big
birders,
aviary, right?
yeah, but they're going to be walking around the
Oh,
park.
they're going to walk
Oh,
around the
okay.
park.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's that's that kind of stuff is. And then of course, our favorite. We have a personal favorite
That's
Queens
right.
resident, and his name is Jack Eichenbaum.
The king of
He
Queens.
is the official Queens historian, as per the borough
Designated
president.
for the borough
Designated by the,
president, that's
I
right.
think
Oh,
3
wow.
borough presidents in a row have designated him as the
designated
borough.
him, okay.
Yes, so he's leading a walking tour of Astoria.
Oh.
This one time, since they now have ferry service, it actually starts in Manhattan. You take the ferry into Astoria, and then he takes you through Astoria.
That's nice.
I like it. Look at Jack using all the tricks of the trade.
Yep.
Is there food on that tour?
It always ends in food.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah.
It's just an excuse. The food, the walking is a way to work up your appetite.
That's it.
But he's going to go through Socrates. He's going to go through the Bohemian Beer Garden.
Yeah.
The Wellington Court mural project.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot. Old Astoria has a lot of nice houses and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
churches. And then he knows everything about. He can talk about on May 1st in 1863 at 7:30 p.m. Blah 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 blah.
We got to get someone hooked up with him so he can.
We got to
pass
get
his
him on this
knowledge.
show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that'd
We
be
got to
nice.
get him on this show.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And then a couple of indoor things. There's a special Haitian. Your husband is
Yes,
Haitian.
yes, he is.
There's a special event. It's called Beat the Drum for Haiti: music, theater, dance, food, arts, and crafts.
Where?
St. Albans.
Oh, no one told me.
Yeah. Well, and there are two. The Museum of the Moving Image, which we mention in
right.
every podcast
Pretty
because they're
much.
so busy. Two film festivals starting this week. One of them is actually just a 3-day thing about a movie called Personal Problems, which was actually filmed in
Donovan story.
1980. It's about a working class African American couple in New York City in 1980,
Right.
which is a completely different ballgame. And it was supposed to show on PBS, but it never went on, so no one has seen it. It's,
Oh, look at that.
so you can actually, I know what I love is I was actually at my high school reunion or at a high school reunion this last weekend and looking at the old yearbooks. For those of us who grew up in the 70s and 80s, the cars were completely different back then.
yeah.
All of the fonts on the stores and everything. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
well, and then at least in my school, all the guys had long hair.
We
It's
couldn't
just
have it because
crazy.
I was in Catholic school. I think I made it down to my collar, and
That
then
was as
And
far
then
as
you got in
go.
trouble.
yeah. The worst part is if you had long hair, the teachers would
Uh-huh.
yank on it. So I mean, there was no
Oh,
there was
really?
no
No gain.
there was no good thing to have long hair.
Oh, really?
It was just another way for them to catch in the hallway.
No, we all had long hair, and basically at the reunion we all had no hair.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm not even gonna cut my hair ever again. It's gonna fall out pretty soon, I think.
Yeah,
It's-
I'm holding on to the last 7
yeah, I think
strands.
I'm on my
fine.
last couple
Yeah,
months.
that's fine.
The other one is a retrospective on movies by a French filmmaker whose name is Agnes Varda. She's still alive. She's like 90 something, but she's known for both movies and documentaries that kind of attack realism and feminist issues with a truly experimental style. Like her movies are always trying out something new.
Yeah.
All right.
Um,
Perfect topic for
so that
these
seems
times.
pretty good. I
Yeah.
mean, it's
You got stuff to
it's-
do. Listen, you're
got
not going
stuff
to
to
be.
do.
I wrote some
You
stuff
stay
down.
back
It's
in
the way-
Queens because you didn't
Right.
plan your vacation. You still got plenty of options.
Right.
Plenty of options
So
for a
if you're here on
staycation.
Memorial Day,
Right.
you've
Go to a
got,
parade.
You've got a very full Memorial Day ahead of you.
That's
If
right.
it rains, you're inside watching movies.
Right.
If it's nice, you're outside listening to music in cemeteries and
Probably
marching,
grabbing some
and,
fried dough, I imagine.
and maybe even
right?
swimming, and
Coming to Rosedale.
or coming to Rosedale for the Memorial Parade. But speaking of Rosedale,
Yes.
tell us a little more about you, because I know you have a really interesting, in my opinion, company going on called
Okay.
Prototype Music.
You got
Proto
it.
Music. Prototype
Prototype.
Music. Tell us a little bit about your company.
Yeah, we can kind of go back to some of the stuff you were saying. Yeah, Prototype Music. It's a youth artist development kind of company. We do production as well with some kids. We are based in South Queens, but our events happen all over Queens. Our biggest event is the one we talked about earlier. That's pretty much.
Where do you
what
find your
we
kids?
do.
Where do you get them from?
You know, we haven't really had to look. They kind of come to us. Once we
Word
start
of
working,
mouth.
once we start working with one kid, there's always other kids. Events, I guess. After we do the Queens Youth Music Festival, we get a
Sure.
lot of kids.
Sure.
Kind of after that, and we don't really work with large groups. We work on individuals, so we don't really need that many kids.
Okay.
Is it
Oh,
after
no.
school or weekends or
It really
anything?
depends. Yeah, because we work kind of at like individual development.
And is it music instruction along with?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right.
It's music, so art instruction and kind of music business.
Oh yeah,
kinda
that's true.
training
That's
as
a
well.
tough. That's a tough.
Yeah,
part.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And that's slightly for the parents too.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have some programs, like we do a program in Saratoga Shelter every Wednesday and Thursday. So we have a dance team there.
Oh, nice. What is
and
the
we
Saratoga
do-
Shelter?
Yeah, I was just say yeah.
It's a family shelter in my neighborhood.
In
In
Rosedale.
in Rosedale. Well, is that technically Rosedale? Maybe that's like it's on like Rockaway and Guyabrua. I don't know what that is.
Could be South Jamaica.
Yeah,
It's
could be.
Right
Southeast
across the
Queens.
street from JFK.
Oh, there you go.
That's
no,
probably
yeah,
that
yeah.
could be South Jamaica.
Yeah.
I'm not
It's
quite
kind
sure.
of yeah, but it's still like right.
Yeah.
It's like maybe 5 minutes
Uh-huh,
from my
uh-huh.
house. So we do some stuff there, and we work out of some of the schools. We'll do like small programs there and
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff like that.
Okay, fantastic. And I understand that you happen to be a very talented singer and dancer.
I do sing and dance. I don't do solo stuff anymore. I'm
So
kinda
you're not
only
going to
sing
sing
when
on
I
this
sing.
podcast. In other
If you
words,
sing with me, are you gonna sing with me?
I'm tone
That's
deaf.
a real bad idea.
So no
Yeah.
one's gonna sing with you. It's gonna be here singing. With
I
me.
can hum. I go.
What are you gonna hum?
What words do you? What song do you know the words of?
I know words. Yeah. I'm just not singing by myself.
You're not
so
singing by
who's
yourself.
singing with me?
Yeah,
All right,
they
well,
they got it coming up.
Tune into the next week's podcast.
Well, I would have sang.
I will bring in a singer. I'll bring in someone else. So your genre that
Yeah.
you prefer is reggae. Is that right?
I wouldn't say prefer. You know, most artists are kind of influenced by
By
the
everything.
music that they
Uh-huh.
grow up with. You know,
Sure.
my parents are from the West Indies, so that was a large influence in the type of music I listened to, obviously. But I still had a lot of, you know, hip hop and
Yeah.
R&B influence
Right.
from South
Sure.
Queens. That's
Uh-huh.
kind of what's popular there. So I kind of blended that all together at some points.
And how
kinda
often
did
do you
my own thing.
perform?
Yeah, I don't perform that much anymore.
Oh,
I've taken
okay.
more of the music business side, even with kids
Okay.
and adults. I do booking and promotion for adults, but development with kids.
Okay, fantastic.
Where do you book shows now?
So yeah, I've convinced a lot of the restaurants in my neighborhood to pay the local artists
There you
instead
go.
of.
That's a huge challenge, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it really is. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm successful with 3 restaurants so far.
Okay.
Do you ever do
Rosedale.
panache? You know
Of course.
panache? Oh, okay.
Every Friday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, congrats.
There you go.
She's the owner, Annette Run. She's a
Yeah.
friend of ours.
Yeah, yeah.
You gonna
What
have
is-
anybody appearing at Groovin' in the Park this year?
I they let me bring some kids. I always bring some
Nice.
kids to those
Yeah,
festivals.
it's a good show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
fantastic. And what's the website for that?
For Groovin' in the Park. Prototype
Prototype.
Music online.
.com.
Yeah.
Ah, prototypemusic.com. Sounds very interesting. Aleeia is
Aleeia.
Aleeia.
Aleeia. Nice and easy.
Aleeia is half Trinidadian, half Jamaican, and she married a Haitian.
Yes.
So of course, question is what are her kids? And the answer is they're Queens residents.
That's right.
They're Queens residents.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, it
I
fell
want you to
flat.
know that as some people might know, my wife is Indian, and we have 5 mixed, half Indian, white. It's always Indian woman, white male couples just on my block.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
my children are growing up thinking that that's the
That's
norm.
it.
That's it.
Isn't everyone?
Yeah.
But anyway,
When I was little, I used to think that all adults were born in another country and all children were born in America.
oh really?
Yeah, yeah, but for that same
If
reason.
you live in- yeah.
Everyone I knew.
had West India.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
When I grew up, I thought all dads were drunk who beat you.
So, you know.
Yeah, I thought dads
Just
didn't
kidding,
know
Dad.
how to do the
Just
dishes.
kidding. He watches the podcast.
Anyway, which is kind of a segue. We've talked on this show about the photograph that we're taking at the Unisphere. It's an homage photo that a famous photographer took in 1958 of jazz musicians in front of a Harlem brownstone. His son is taking an homage photo, and we were going to do it this past Saturday, which was May 20th, May 19th.
19th, yeah.
Yep.
But it rained, poured the whole day. We just got word from the Parks Department that we have a permit to do it on June 9th, which is a Saturday from
day
8
as our
to 11.
festival. Yeah.
Same day as
So
our
structure
festival.
everyone's day for
We're-
them, so
uh-huh.
they know how to.
So
8
make
to
sure
11.
we and
Photo.
the original photo was 1958, and it was jazz greats in front of a Harlem brownstone, because at the time, Harlem was sort of the center of jazz, and it sort of celebrated that. This photo is different and not copying anything. We're taking the Unisphere, which is the most recognized Queens symbol, and we're getting as many immigrants as we can in front of the to pose in front of it. I had 78 countries confirmed for last Saturday. Obviously, it was canceled or postponed, so I'm sort of making sure that everyone else can still make it. But if we can get 100 countries represented, that would be fantastic. And it's just going to be a great day, and if everyone's invited, regardless of whether you're first generation, second generation, or whatever generation.
Yeah.
Give him the contact. How to contact you. And
Contact me at Rob Mackay. Just do my email. RM, that's M as in Mary, RMACKAY at queensny.org. That's RMACKAY at queensny.org. Chris,
yes.
do you have anything that I missed? What did I miss this
you got
week?
Everything.
Oh my
Everything on the
gosh.
sheet that I thought
Really?
was important. Yeah,
Okay, I
absolutely.
took the words right out of your mouth. Huh?
Absolutely, just like meatloaf.
Just like meatloaf. Anything else? What did I miss?
No, you did a good job.
Okay.
We could give our buddy a plug. Buddy Mark Fox, who performed on the show for the Resorts World show. He's playing this Friday at BB's in Flushing. His band is playing there.
What's BB's?
BB's is a bar and grill that has live music,
Oh, okay.
and we like to go out and support live music.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. Like
'Cause they pay their
there's
bands.
nothing.
Right?
There is.
That's rare.
That is rare.
I also have to say that seeing it live is better than.
No,
Yes.
yeah, there's nothing
There's
better.
nothing compared
Feeling
to
the
seeing it
energy,
live.
Yeah.
feeling the
Yeah.
bass, right?
Really,
Everything.
and all genres.
Yeah,
Seeing
yeah.
it
Yeah.
live, watching them create
doubt.
is So remember, as we have said before in this show, we talk a lot, right?
Probably too much.
Probably too much. Everything is correct that we talk about. The dates and the times and everything else are correct on the website, which is it'sinqueens.com. So if you heard anything that that
Piqued your interest?
piqued your interest, strikes your fancy, wets your whistle, makes
Yeah.
your day,
Mhm.
go to www.it'sinqueens.com and you can read all about it. Okay,
That sounds good to me.
Chris, thank you.
No, thank
You
you.
gonna stay
Rob.
in Queens this weekend?
I'm not going anywhere.
Okay. Aleeia,
Yeah.
You gonna stay in Queens this weekend?
Yes, I am.
All
I
right.
have a list of events that you gave me.
Oh, very good, very good. And we're very excited for June 9th.
June
Yeah.
9th. You got
Both
double,
for the photo and for the youth
double
fest.
duty that
Yeah.
day.
Luckily, I can do both. You're
Yes.
gonna have a hard time
I'm
because
gonna try. I really want to make that.
you
picture.
got all the pressure on you.
Yeah.
But come by 8 to
Yeah.
11.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna stop.
You said it starts at noon. Your
Yeah.
show. Okay. All right. Well, everyone, thank you very much for putting up with us for yet another week. Again, it's www.itsinqueens.com, and thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.